Good evening. I'd like to welcome everybody to our webinar Wednesdays. Tonight we're going to talk about International Convention and District Convention. And we're going to kick it off with a little video. And here we go.
On the northern shore of Lake Ontario, near the U.S. border, lies Canada's largest city. Toronto is the capital of the province of Ontario and is a major economic and cultural center for the country. Founded as York by the British in the late 1700s, Toronto is now a proudly Canadian city, and nearly 6 million people call the Greater Toronto Area home. The megacity attracts people from all over the world, and neighborhoods such as Chinatown, Greektown, and Little Italy are just some examples of Toronto's diversity. Nearly everywhere you go, you can catch a glimpse of the city's iconic CN Tower, one of the 7 wonders of the modern world. Architecture meets art. Art Gallery of Ontario, designed by the groundbreaking Toronto-born architect Frank Gehry, who used to visit the original gallery as a child. No less impressive, but from a different era altogether, is the elegant hilltop castle, Castle Loma. It was dreamt up a century ago by the ambitious Sir Henry Pellet, whose family motto was, "Foremost if I can." This motto perfectly reflects the spirit of the Torontonians in what is nicknamed the city that works. The entrepreneurial Canadians also know how to relax. Take a stroll in one of Toronto's many green spaces, such as the Edward Gardens and High Park. Families, couples, and students share the botanical displays with the curious chipmunks. Near the waterfront, Toronto's rejuvenated distillery district mixes the old with the new in a tasteful way. One of the most striking contemporary twists to a historic building is the design of the Royal Ontario Museum. Browse the galleries with artifacts of Canada's Aboriginal peoples and past. Then see artworks from across the globe and explore the nature exhibits. Overlooking Lake Ontario is modern Canada Square, a cultural hub in the heart of the award-winning Harbourfront Centre. Relax a while in the center's pleasant marina, or visit a theater or brew house. Sports fans can catch a game in Rogers Centre or visit the nearby Hockey Hall of Fame. First-timers are often surprised by the size of Toronto, which is North America's 4th largest city. Dundas Square, the downtown end of Yonge Street, is reminiscent of New York's Times Square. Find designer brands in the Eaton Center, or shop in the city's huge underground mall called The Path. A different shopping experience altogether are the vintage clothes stores at the Kensington Market. This central neighborhood represents the funky, anything-goes side of Toronto. When it's time for lunch, try Italian or Greek food, or a typical hog town treat. St. Lawrence Market in the heart of the Old Town is the best place to go for fresh produce. Families should check out the fun Ontario Science Centre, or visit Toronto's exciting entertainment parks. See the bears take a nap or take a splash in the Toronto Zoo, and meet Snoopy and his friends in Canada's Wonderland. Don't leave Ontario before taking a day trip to Niagara Falls. The largest of them all, the Horseshoe Falls, sits on the border with New York State. Each year, millions of people come to watch this spectacle, an experience you'll never forget. The falls are the perfect finale to your Toronto visit.
Very good. All right, we're back. I hope everybody enjoyed the video compiled by our On to Convention chair, Joe Germana. I'd like to welcome for her premiere webinar with the Ohio District, our 2014-2015 International Trustee from the Carolinas District. Please welcome Elizabeth Teza, who's going to give us her David Letterman-style top 10 reasons to go to Toronto. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Jim. I also want to thank Governor Amy for this opportunity to share my excitement about the International Convention in Toronto, and thought it would be fun to do a top 10 reason to go to Toronto. So I hope you'll find it informative and amusing. So we're going to start with number 10, and number 10 is the business session. And I'm glad y'all are muted, so I can't hear the big sigh or the collective groan, but yes, really, the business session is a reason to be excited to go to Toronto. This is where club delegates really do get the opportunity to have a say in the governance of your international organization. And although sometimes it can be tedious, it is always entertaining to watch the spirited debate and hear the opinions of your fellow delegates. And of course, this is a picture of President Sue, who is the first female president of an international service organization, and I think y'all are going to get to see her at your mid-year, so that will be fun. And then after the business session, number 9, you will need a drink. I thought it would be fun to put restaurants and breweries right after attending the business session. Toronto does have a huge entertainment district, and it is within walking distance from the convention center. There's also an historic distillery district, and so I thought I'd feature one of the breweries, the Steam Whistle Brewery. It's a National Historic Site. It's formerly the Canadian Pacific Railway Steam Locomotive Repair Facility. So you can have a bite to eat in the restaurant, you can sample beer, or you can have a tour of the brewery, which will be much deserved after you sit through the House of Delegates. Hopefully it won't be as long as it was last year. Now we go on to number 8, the longest drive. Actually, other than the districts of Michigan, Eastern Canada, and New York, Ohio will have the shortest drive. So the longest drive a Kiwanian from the Ohio district will have, as you can see, is from Cincinnati to Toronto. That's 492 miles, so that will be Governor Amy's trip. But And even though Indy was closer, I have it so that you can still see Indianapolis on the screen. Indianapolis and Toronto are the two closest international convention sites to the Ohio district, I think, through at least 2019 and as far back as 2003, I believe. So you've had two drivable conventions within 2 years. So that's a really good benefit for the Ohio district. So we go on to number 7. If you're taking your kids or your grandkids, there's a lot of fun for the family. The video did talk about the Toronto Zoo. It has over 5,000 animals, and what they're famous for is their gorilla rainforest, which is home to a western lowland gorilla troop. However, I really thought this picture of the panda was exceptionally cute, so that's the one I used. And Ripley's Aquarium is in the heart of downtown Toronto, right at the base of the CN Tower. And it is also a fairly famous aquarium as well. So there's lots of fun. There's lots of fun for the family. So number 6, forums and training. As you know, if you've been to an international convention, there is a forum for every single Kiwanis subject imaginable. There'll be formula training, there'll be forums on developing signature projects, service leadership programs, media and branding, service initiatives, and the list goes on. Of course, the best things about these forums is hearing what's important to your fellow Kiwanians around the world, as well as what they're doing in their communities. And you may find that what works in New Zealand or the Northern District would work well in your club in Ohio. It's always the best thing that I hear about the forums is the interaction between the attendees and what they learn, not from maybe the speakers, but from each other. Okay, now we go on to number 5, sightseeing and shopping. I will tell you right now that you will not catch me on the edge walk at the CN Tower. I am afraid of heights, and I can cross a bridge or get on a plane, but I would never be able to do this. Actually, they say that on a clear day, you can see Niagara Falls from the edge walk, but I will not be viewing it. The CN Tower is the second tallest freestanding tower in the world. It was the tallest until 2007 when the Dubai Tower was being built. It is, and so we're in Canada now, so we're going to talk in meters. It's 553 meters tall. That would be 1,815 feet. It has a number of observation levels, including a famous glass floor. I won't be going on that one either. And the edge walk, which is pictured in the upper left, is 356 meters or 1,168 feet above the ground. So those of you who aren't scared of heights, you can have at it. Right below that is Castle Loma, a very important site in that it is a 200,000 square foot Edwardian castle on 5 acres. It was built in 1911 for $3.5 million, and it was the largest private residence in Canada. It's now a museum. And for those who like to shop, the upper right is Toronto Eaton Centre. It has over 175 stores. And the Hudson Bay Company is actually part of Eaton Center. I think it's right around the corner. It's the oldest company in North America, and of course, an iconic department store. So those are some fun shopping experiences, and also, I believe, walking distance from most of our hotels. So on to number 4. And number 4, speakers and entertainers. We have a Canadian astronaut. Actually, the most famous Canadian astronaut, Colonel Chris Hadfield, is going to speak at the opening session. He'll be our keynoter. He spent 5 months aboard the International Space Station. He has 21 years as an astronaut, 3 space flights, 2,600 orbits of Earth, and he is the first Canadian to be the commander of the International Space Station. So he will probably have a very interesting talk for us. The young lady on the right her name is Jewel, and to be honest, she's an American singer. I had actually not heard of her. She's from Alaska. Her father is evidently an Alaskan cowboy, but she's a singer and a songwriter and an actress. And I believe that she will be singing at the Saturday night gala. But I think something interesting about her is her charitable initiative is Project Clean Water, to bring safe water to those who have around the world who have water shortages. So again, we are having a speaker from the country in which we are located for our convention in Colonel Hadley, and then we're having a young singer for our gala, and I'm looking forward to hearing her. And then we're on to number 3. Toronto is a city of many cultures, so it is an absolutely perfect location for a Kiwanis convention. We are a global organization, and Toronto is one of the most multicultural cities in the world, with over 140 cultures. Chinatown, Greek town, they have a little Italy and a little Poland, and pictured here is little India. So lots of cultural diversity, and I think this looks like a street fair. I believe there are some festivals going on as well. So there is, I think, something for everyone in Toronto. And now we go on to registration is easy, and I'm going to turn it over to Jim because he's going to walk you through the international website and give you some pointers on how to get registered for the convention.
Great, thanks, Elizabeth. We're going to swap over here real quick. As we look at the Kiwanis.org website, you can see here that there are a couple of key tabs to look for. There's the Register tab, the Attend tab, and the Experience tab. And we're going to walk you through those real quick here so you can see what you're looking for when you get to the website. When you're on the Register tab, this is what you'll see. You can register for the convention real easy. It's Register Now. That'll take you to register online. It'll open up a new page. You'll need your Kiwanis member ID number and some other information. You can select all of your ticket packages. You'll need to log in through the Kiwanis portal. And you can select all of your ticket packages right there. There's also a downloadable registration form. If you want to old school it, you can do that as well. Here's a couple of the pricing options for folks. Particularly pay attention to the ones in the left-hand column here for Kiwanians and non-Kiwanian guests. As usual, there's an early bird discount. It's $300. It goes up to $350 after April 15th and $400 on site after May 13th. And that is just for the registration for the convention. That does not include all of the events. Some of the ticketed events, such as the ones you see here, the Alumni Gathering, Fellowship Breakfast, the Kiwanis International Foundation Reception, Circle K's Celebration Breakfast, and of course the Gala Night with Jewel, are each individual add-on tickets that you can purchase. The package, the premium package that you see up here, does include a few of those tickets, including the Fellowship Breakfast and the Gala Night with Jewel, and the Kiwanis International Foundation Reception. And all of that's here if you need any reference for it to go back and look at all of that. So they make the process real easy to go through and to get registered online. Attending the convention, we've got a couple of things on that tab here. So you can download the logo for the convention if you want to share it with your clubs. In any newsletters, you can do that too. You can look at the hotels, information about exhibitors and advertisers that want to be there. There's some information on the tours tab here. We'll take a look at that. I don't yet know if Ohio has a scheduled tour, but here's a couple of options for pre- and post-convention tours. Of course, Niagara Falls being one of the great ones, but here are a few other options and ideas for you as well. On the Experience the Convention tab, it talks a little bit more about the news of the convention, the schedule as well. We'll take a look at the schedule here. So on Wednesday, it's registration and the World Showcase is open for most of the day. On Thursday, we'll have the opening session featuring our keynote speaker, Chris Hadfield. On Friday, there will be a forums and business session. The primary thing in the morning is the business session. In the evening, we'll have a 100th birthday party, similar to what we had in Indianapolis, but we'll do it Canadian style, with I'm sure lots of maple syrup, perhaps. On Saturday, we'll have the closing session and, of course, the gala night with Jewel, featuring a dinner, a private concert, and, of course, 50 amp fuse, and I believe played in Indianapolis as well. So lots of free time built into that schedule for you to check out other things around town. But there are also some other things going on, especially the forums, as Elizabeth mentioned. We do have the business to attend to, which includes elections for international officers. Our vice presidents, or vice president, will be electing one position there. And then we have, Elizabeth, how many positions for trustee do we have to fill? 3?
There are 3 positions. Chen Cheng-Ching, who actually I've met, he's from Taiwan. He was elected by ASPAC, the Asia Pacific Conference. So he is not. He will probably give a speech at some point, but he is not. We will not be electing him there. He will already be going into that seat. And so Fred, Jim, Peter, and Bert are the 4 candidates for 3 trustee spots.
Very good. Thank you.
Now, the other thing I want to say is the amendments and resolutions are not up yet. They still have to be finalized by some of the language is being finalized by the International Board, but I believe there will be, and I think some clubs have presented amendments. I was just on a Task Force on Governing Documents conference call this morning, and I believe there might be up to 10 amendments. Some of them are probably housekeeping, and I don't know what kind. So keep checking back, because as soon as those are all approved and the language has all been vetted, they will go up on the website so people can start looking.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And then, of course, down here you can download the certificate of election for your club delegates and alternates so that they are qualified to vote in the House of Delegates as well in the business session. So.
Yeah, you'll need to check with your district secretary and see which of you are delegates at large. For example, Governor Amy will be a delegate at large, so she will not have to fill out a form. But if you're representing a club, you do need to download that form and have it filled out so that your district secretary is not doing it all at the last minute, because the only person that can sign that form, if your club hasn't signed it, is the district secretary.
Thank you. And the last tab here is on fellowship, and it talks a little bit about, there's one photo that Elizabeth shared, and it really is one of the biggest reasons to enjoy the convention experience, all the folks that you get to meet from literally around the world that will convene in Toronto. To keep in touch with some of those folks, or to meet folks before the convention, Kiwanis International has a Facebook page, and they have one strictly for the 101st Annual Convention. And so this is what it looks like, and you can see a chat going on here with a bunch of different topics. Looking for parking options, you could consider that one. There are folks that are reporting stuff. Here's a key thing to remember. If you're from the U.S., to get your passport or renew it, make sure it's still valid, because you do need a passport or the passport card to go into Canada. And that includes children as well. And then there's links of course, posted here as well for the convention. But it's a nice forum to keep in touch with folks during the process. So, all right, we're going to go back on over to the PowerPoint. There's our number one reason. Go ahead, Elizabeth.
Yeah, our number one reason is fellowship, and Amy sent me some of these pictures, but we did have when I was at your district convention, that's when these were taken. But we did have a picture of Amy taking a picture of us, and so I wanted to include that. Fellowship is, in any survey, of convention attendees, fellowship is the #1 reason that Kiwanians enjoy their convention experience. As Jim said, you meet people from all over the world, and they are like-minded, no matter whether they're from Taiwan or New Zealand or Italy, and they love talking about the service that they do in their communities. And we have more in common than we have differences. I attended my first international convention in Montreal in 2006, and I have not missed one since. It has become my annual vacation. I don't believe there's anything more fun that I could do. You get to see a different part of the world, but you get to see the friends that you've made over the years, and you get to make new friends. So for any of you who have not been to an international convention, I really encourage you to go to this one. It is very close for you, and I think that it will be a very, very rewarding experience for you. So again, thank you, Jim, and thank you, Governor Amy, for giving me the opportunity to share my excitement about Toronto. It's really a great experience, and I hope to see all of you there. Thanks.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Elizabeth. We really appreciate you joining us tonight. Stay tuned. Is Sandy on with us? We're going to kick it over to Sandy to talk about the Ohio District Convention in August. Are you there, Sandy? No, I think she got booted off. Okay, maybe she'll dial back in. But I'm going to go ahead and switch over to another window here and see if we can pull up the desktop here. So this is a welcome save the date for August 11th through 14th at the Great Wolf Lodge Indoor Water Park in Mason, just north of Cincinnati, Ohio. It's a very nice little suburban community. We'll be having the Kiwanis District Convention there at the Lodge and Water Park. Here's a little breakdown, a tentative schedule. Of course, join us for a riverboat cruise to celebrate the Cincinnati Kiwanis 100th anniversary on Thursday night. Kiwanians and their guests of all ages are welcome to join that. The cost is $65, and I believe they will be opening registration for that soon. On Friday, it's play day at Kings Island, Great Wolf Lodge, or the Beach Water Park, all nearby. Great places to attend and have some fun with the family. And, of course, you can get involved with some Friday night fun at the Great Wolf Lodge as well. I believe there will probably be a party or something planned for that. On Saturday, we'll have the business sessions, including the House of Delegates, where we will elect new officers to lead our district. The nice part about being able to bring your kids or grandkids is that there will be supervision for them at the Great Wolf's Lodge. So while we're busy taking care of Kiwanis business, they can be busy having fun at the water park, courtesy of our Circle K SLP program. So on Saturday evening, we'll have the governor's banquet to celebrate a wonderful year of service from A to Z with Governor Amy Zimmerman. And then we will have a closing brunch and, I believe, installation banquet for the 2015-2016 officers on Sunday. So there's a little rundown on that. I'm going to go ahead and unmute the line here. And we will open it up for anybody that has questions. And everybody's unmuted, so if you have questions, go ahead and ask away. Or comments are welcome as well. I hear somebody feverishly chatting away. Okay, we will publish the link to the YouTube video on the district website and on the Facebook group page so that you can check this out. It should be up within the next couple of days for tonight's webinar. Just go to YouTube. You can just search Ohio Kiwanis, and you'll see several of the webinar videos that we've had thus far. So without seeing or hearing any other questions or comments, I'd like to thank Elizabeth for joining us tonight and walking us through the top 10 reasons. I hope to see you all at International Convention in Toronto and District Convention in Cincinnati. Thank you all for joining.